Mara, Chronological Archive Entry. 1500 BCE, Indo-Iranian cultural sphere Indo-Iranian religious structures begin conceptualizing death as an organized force. Death is treated as governed, not chaotic. The idea that obstruction or termination can be personified enters the mythic field. This forms part of the deep structural background for later Mara development. 1000 BCE, Northern India, Vedic cultural milieu. The linguistic root Mara appears in association with killing or destruction. At this stage, it is not yet a fully formed mythic character. It exists as a functional principle. The archetype is present. The narrative identity is not. 600 BCE, Nepal and Northern India, historical anchor. The historical life of Siddhartha Gautama establishes the narrative environment in which Mara becomes defined. Without this event, Mara remains conceptual. With it, the figure crystallizes. 528 BCE, Bodh Gaya, India, mythic event. The confrontation beneath the Bodhi tree occurs. Mara attempts to obstruct awakening. 3 functional stages are recorded: seduction through desire, intimidation through force, challenge through doubt. Siddhartha touches the earth as witness. Mara withdraws. This event formalizes Mara as adversary of enlightenment. 500 BCE, Northern India, oral canon formation. Early Buddhist teachings are preserved. Mara becomes codified as a recurring presence. His function expands from death to spiritual obstruction. He is no longer episodic. He becomes structural. 300 BCE, early Buddhist cosmology. Mara is identified as ruler of the Kamadhatu, the desire realm. This establishes territorial authority within cosmology. Mara governs beings bound by craving and attachment. His domain becomes existential, not merely symbolic. 200 BCE, Indian subcontinent, narrative expansion. Mara's daughters are formally integrated into mythic cycles. They represent craving, attachment, and dissatisfaction. Temptation becomes psychological rather than purely external. Start of Common Era. South and Southeast Asia, doctrinal diffusion. As Buddhism spreads geographically, Mara's interpretation broadens. In some traditions, he remains a literal being. In others, he begins transitioning toward metaphor. Internalization begins. 200 CE, Central Asia and India, Mahāyāna development. Philosophical texts reinterpret Mara as ego and ignorance. The Bodhi tree event becomes a model for internal awakening. Mara shifts from cosmic opponent to mental obstruction. 400 CE, India, artistic codification. Visual representations stabilize. Storm armies. Daughters. The earth-touching gesture. Iconography spreads across regions. The image of Mara becomes standardized. 700 CE, China, Korea, and Japan, cultural transmission. Mara is integrated into East Asian Buddhist cosmology. He becomes associated with illusion of mind. Interpretation emphasizes psychological attachment over physical threat. 1200 CE, Tibet, esoteric interpretation. In Tibetan Buddhism, Mara is explicitly equated with mental affliction. Obstacles are described as projections of consciousness. The figure becomes fully interiorized. 1800 CE, Europe, comparative religion. Western scholars categorize Mara as a Buddhist Satan. This comparison narrows the archetype. The obstruction function is reduced to moral evil framing. 1900 CE, global academic sphere, psychological reframing. Mara is interpreted through psychoanalytic and existential frameworks. He becomes resistance to transformation. He represents internal self-sabotage. 2000 CE, global, modern spiritual adaptation. Mara becomes metaphor for distraction. Comfort addiction. Identity fixation. The comfort, fear, doubt structure remains intact. 2020 CE, global, digital age extension. The Mara archetype aligns with algorithmic distraction and attention economy structures. Obstruction shifts mediums. Function remains unchanged. Archive summary. Origin, death-associated principle. Mythic crystallization, Bodhi tree confrontation. Cosmological role, ruler of the desire realm. Philosophical evolution, psychological obstruction. Modern interpretation, resistance to transformation. Mara persists wherever awakening is attempted.